welcome back to Final Fantasy VII. Last time, we finished off some odds and ends. Our in-game cleanup, some of it. Well, the more time-consuming part, the more onerous parts of our end-game cleanup. We got our chocobos done. We managed to... I said I wasn't going to do it, but we ended up doing it. We got the gold chocobo through chocobo breeding. And we went over, got Knights of the Round, we got Quadra Magic. We didn't get that with the gold chocobo. We clipped out off... We cheated a bit to get that one. We got the HP-MP swap, and we got Mime. So since last time, you'll see our setup is a little bit different. So Cloud is max HP, max MP, thanks to his materia setup. Barret and Sid are toast at the moment. They don't have anything on them. I have Cloud with the Ragnarok, the Mistile, and a Ribbon, which is very important for what we're doing today. So we want that status protection. The Mistile gives us evasion and 6 materia slots, so that's good. And the Ragnarok gives us 6 materia slots and some decent attack power. But since last time, we reset Cloud's materia setup. So there's a very, very, very specific reason why we have everything equipped. So first of all, we have 2 HP plus materias equipped to make sure that Cloud has max HP. Very important. We are going to be fighting Ruby Weapon today, and Ruby Weapon does a ton of damage. But one of the attacks Ruby Weapon does is Ruby Flame. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. But it is a fire elemental attack, so we have elemental with a mastered elemental with fire equipped so that we absorb any of the fire damage as like a heal. We have the Mime materia, which I'll go over in a second, but we have Hades, enemy skill, so that we can use, we're going to start off the battle with a big guard. We have W summon, which is very important. Final attack with Phoenix. Basically what that's going to do is if Cloud, for whatever reason, gets knocked out, before he falls down and his HP drops to 0, he will use Final Attack, which uses the paired materia, which in this case is Phoenix, which will revive everyone, if Cloud has the MP for it. He may not, because Hades and Knights of the Round are very expensive spells. Well, not so much Hades, but Knights of the Round is 250 MP. That's a lot. And the gimmick with the Ruby Weapon is it's invulnerable while your full party is alive. So you go in there, you have 3 party members alive, and you basically can't do anything to him, and he will use, he'll use his attacks, but one of his attacks that he has is Sandstorm. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. And what it does is it works the same way that the Midgar Zolom, he's got that one attack that kicks one of your party members from battle. That's basically what Sandstorm does. It just kicks them out of the party. So to avoid that, you go in there with 1 character alive. The other 2 are KO'd. And that way, when you go in there, he's not going to do his thing where he boots a party member because they're already toast. They're already knocked out. So what he's going to do when we go into battle is he's going to take his big gnarly arms and stick them in the ground, and he's going to launch some tentacles up behind where your party is. And that's the only point in the battle when he's got those tentacles up. That's the only point where you can really do meaningful damage to him. Now, we're going to be using Knights of the Round with HP Absorb, so that some of the damage that gets done to Ruby Weapon through Knights of the Round will be absorbed back to Cloud, and he'll be healed back to full, because it'll be multiple thousands that he gets healed for. But I'm pretty sure he counters Knights of the Round. So our insurance against that is to use Hades first. So the reason why we want to specifically use Hades is because he lands a bunch of different nasty status effects on the enemy, one of which is like a paralysis or stop, which Ruby Weapon is susceptible to. If you use Hades first, you get the stop to work. That kind of negates his ability to counter. So you use W Summon, which lets you cast 2 summons, to do Hades and then Knights of the Round in that order. So you'll use Hades, you'll sit through that animation, and then you'll sit through the Knights of the Round animation. And then he'll be just kind of sitting there doing nothing afterwards. And that's when you use Mime. Now, because when you use Hades and Knights of the Round together, it eats essentially almost half of your MP, because one of his tentacles is probably going to hit you, and it does MP. It doesn't damage your health, it damages your MP. The one specifically. One damages HP, the other damages MP. And they do about like 400 plus damage to your MP. So they essentially eat half of it. So by the end of our first actual turn doing damage, we'll probably have like maybe 100 or 200 MP left. But that's where Mime comes in, because once you cast Hades and Knights of the Round, as long as that chain doesn't get broken, which means don't equip counterattack materia, because if he hits you and you counter, your Mime chain's done. You'll just counter the regular, you'll mime the last action that you took, which was the counterattack, which is a single physical damage, which does basically peanuts to him. So we'll do W summon to cast Hades and Knights of the Round, and then we'll do Mime afterward to repeat the process until he's toast. And it's probably the easiest way I've seen to deal with the guy, because this can be kind of an annoying fight if you try to do it the normal, conventional way. But more kind of beside that point, we did get a bunch of materia leveled up since last time. So we started working on Quadra Magic, worked a little bit more on Added Cut. Sneak Attack is one of them I forgot to go over. I got that one when I did some of the Chocobo racing. That was a prize for one of the Chocobo races, so it's kind of neat. So when you get a preemptive attack, you can have this paired with like specific materia, and when the battle starts, if you get so say you have Sneak Attack paired with something else, and then you have a preemptive materia mastered in another slot, you'll up your chance of getting a preemptive strike. And then when you do go into that preemptive, you'll start the battle off with whatever that Sneak Attack materia is paired with, which is really neat. We got a ton of all materia mastered. We managed to master Mime, which I'm sure you saw here. What else? We started working on W summon. We mastered double cut, so I started working on the second one so that we can get 4 times cut there. I was using slash all on Barret, which was really nice in the grind, because it hits all enemies. It's really, really nice. We were working a little bit more on long range, but I'm not too worried about that. We almost mastered the preemptive materials that we got from the battle square. We almost mastered enemy lure too. That was really handy in getting encounters. It just made the process a little faster. We had the Gil Plus on Barret, and that it does make a difference with the amount of Gil that you get. It cranks your money up pretty quick. Didn't touch the Experience Plus because I don't want it. We did do some work on Speed Plus. We got a whole pile of HP Plus materia mastered now. We did master 1 MP Plus with Barret. But more importantly, let's do this. We'll arrange them so it's easier to look at. For our summons, we mastered a lot of those. But so we still have to master Knights of the Round, Phoenix, which Phoenix and Hades are almost there. And then we have to master Bahamut Zero, Typhon, and that's it. Then we'll be done with mastering summons. We can go get our W summon materia and call it a day. But so we mastered Neo Bahamut, Alexander, Ujata, regular Bahamut, Leviathan, Odin, Titan, Rama, Ifrit, Shiva, Chocomog. So really it's just these 5. So Typhon, Bahamut, Zero, Hades, Phoenix, and Knights of the Round. The longest one by far is going to be Knights of the Round. By far. Now the other thing, I'm pretty sure I covered everything here. Yeah, we covered Knights of the Round with HP Absorb. Final Attack Phoenix, we covered W Summon. Enemy Skill, we're going to use that to get Big Guard. HP Plus gets us max HP. We went over W Summon to use Hades. Knights of the Round, the reason why we use Hades first. The Mime command, we went over that, and then Elemental Fire we went over, so I think we're good. The only other thing I think is if you look at, so the way the Knights of the Round works is like any other summon where it's based on your magic stat. So the damage that you do is based on your magic attack. So now we want to get as much damage as we possibly can. So this is one of those areas, or one of those times where if you really, really, really wanted to, and you were really picky about getting like quad 9s on every hit, you could go to the sunken ship where we got Sid's High Wind Limit Break. You could go down there with Yuffie and her Conformer with a Morph Materia, and you could morph those enemies into any of these different sources. I didn't do that. These are just the ones that we've collected through the game so far. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump these all into Cloud. Oh, whoops. I don't know. I don't know if I dumped one into Barret, but it doesn't really matter. Don't even really need to do it. It's just... they're there. Might as well use them, right? Okay, so we got 159 magic, 100 vitality, 105 strength. So... hey, our magic defense is almost topped off. Max stats in this game is 255. Okay, so let's save that real quick. And... yeah, we'll just dump it there. Okay, so the way you get this guy... oh, first... no, game. One more thing. I set battle speed back to where the default was in the middle. And I set the ATB to wait because, like, you don't have to. It just, I always find it spooky fighting this guy with, like, fast active ATB. I mean, it's possible. I just don't want to screw it up, that's all. But so you just get in your airship or you get on a gold chocobo, you run into him, and you begin. So he's ginormous. And he's going to start the battle off because it's only Cloud alive. He's going to do that. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to forego Big Guard. So let's do Hades, Knights of the Round. I'll let it ride through the first casting of them. Like, I'll just let it go. Once we get this done and you see the whole process, it's basically just rinse and repeat. So you W summon to cast Hades and then Knights of the Round first, which is what we're doing now. And then after this one, if everything goes according to plan, you won't have to go back into your W summon menu again. You'll be able to just scroll over to where Mime is and just click Mime. But so you see it cast Hades, cast Stop. So if you notice Ruby Weapon isn't moving, which means the stop worked. So now when we use Knights of the Round right after, we don't have to be worried about counterattack. So now, this might look like it's really cheap, but this boss is really cheap. So we're doing roughly 7,000 a hit, and you do 13 hits with Knights of the Round, plus whatever, like, piddly couple hundred that Hades does. Now, the reason why I don't feel bad or guilty doing this, why I don't feel cheap doing this, is because this guy's got 800,000 HP. The only enemy in the game that has more that I'm aware of is Diamond Weapon, which has 1,000,000 HP, which is like an absolutely redonkulous amount of HP for like a game where your damage cap is quad 9s. Now, Diamond Weapon is a lot easier to deal with because you have the option to do like Omni Slash. But there, so there's our first cast. It's a long haul to sit through, but so you notice he's not doing anything. He's stopped. So Mime, rinse and repeat. We should have to do this. We should have to do this roughly 10 times. Actually, let's go 800,000 divided by, let's say, average 7,000 times 13 hits. Yeah, we should have to do this 9 times. 8, not quite 9, it's 8 and change, but... It's a long and painful sequence of attacks, but, you know, it is what it is. It's going to get the job done, and it's going to get our Desert Rose for us, and it's going to be one less thing we have to worry about. And Ruby Weapon was always one of those bosses where, as a kid, playing through this, I spent hours, untold hours, trying to figure out how to do it. And once I finally figured out how the materia works and figured out some of the finer points of like materia combinations, oh, it was a thing of beauty the first time I took this guy down. And if you hadn't guessed by now, it's Knights of the Round it's a reference to King Arthur. The Knights of the Round Table. Right, so there's number 2. And after this next one, his stop should wear off. So I think what we're going to do is there it is. You wait for it to wear off, and then you cast it. Because then, if you do it while he's still stopped, once you're done with the casting, as soon as Knights of the Round finishes, his ATB is already going, which means he's going to get to hit you and do bad stuff, and it's not going to be nice. So if you wait a couple seconds and let the stop status wear off so that he's moving again, when you cast Hades, it should stop him. There, he's stopped. So you get another couple turns free. And then we're going to cast Knights of the Round for free. And that damage that he did to us after Knights of the Round is done is going to be healed through HP Absorb, which is why you equip that. And if anything goes terribly wrong, as long as he doesn't hit us with that other tentacle that does MP damage, we'll be fine. Because Cloud has max MP or HP and MP, his attack that reduces your MP does it's not quite half, so it does like 400 something damage when you're at max MP. So if he did that now, we may not necessarily have enough to do the final attack Phoenix if we get to that point. The other thing you can do too is if you don't want to use Hades, you can go grind out a bunch of Dazers. And the Dazers will stop him. Like, dead in his tracks. That's the other way that you can do this with your other party members alive. What you can do, you could start the battle with your other 2 characters KO'd so that he sticks his tentacles in the ground. And then you can have 99 Dazers grind it out before you start this. And have a mime on whatever character is going to be your main damage dealer. Have your other characters there for support and to reuse Dazers. So what you can do is start the battle off with Cloud having like Omni Slash or something. And then have a mime materia on Cloud. Get the other characters to keep the Dazers up on him. And then just have Cloud mime Omni Slash. because Omni Slash is ridiculous. But on this boss, Omni Slash isn't really going to do too much. Diamond Weapon, though, that's a whole other ball game. Because the Diamond Weapon underwater is not invulnerable. I mean, you saw when the damage from Hades hit this guy, it only did like 180 damage. The reason this does damage is because it's magic damage. It's not physical. Where this guy, he's got a redonkulous physical defense stat. Alright, so there we go. He's gonna start moving pretty soon. So we're just gonna sit here and wait. There he goes. We get hit. He didn't hit our MP, so that's great. And we don't have to worry about if Cloud gets a limit break because we're just doing Mime. As long as we don't use the limit break, our Mime chain will be unbroken. And it doesn't matter if we get drained down to 0 MP, because Cloud's last action has nothing to do with that. The Mime materia lets you just repeat the actions for free. Which, if you had to cast this many times, there's no way, because you can only cast it a max of like 5 times when you have the summon mastered. Or, well, I don't know if you master a summon if you get unlimited summons of them. I don't know. I never looked at that before. But you would to effectively do this without doing the W summon and Mime. You would have to have like 2 or 3 Knights of the Round materia mastered, and you would have to have like 2 or 3 of the Hades materia mastered, unless you did the stop with Dazers. But either way, you would still have to master Knights of the Round like 3 times. Even if you supplemented it with damage from like Neo Bahamut or Bahamut Zero or something else that does a bunch of damage, you're still... Like, Knights of the Round, the reason why it's so busted is because it does 13 hits. Even if they were doing... Even if Bahamut Zero did, like, just 1 hit of 7,000 damage, this is like casting Bahamut Zero 13 times. Which is why it costs 250 MP per cast. Now, the alternative here is you could use... Or no, you can't use Quadra Magic with this. I came to that conclusion last time. If you were doing Bahamut Zero, you could do Quadra Magic to get 4 casts, but that's still not as effective as doing a W summon. Now, the other thing you could do too, if you have W summon mastered and you have a couple copies of it, you could do W summon to do Hades and then Knights of the Round, and then do a Turbo Ether, and then do a W summon with 2 back-to-back Knights of the Round, and then mime that. But chances are he would, his stop status would come off, and he would counter your Knights of the Round, and you would be toast, because you wouldn't have a chance. Well, you would have a chance to heal in between, as long as you have Knights of the Round linked to MP absorb or HP absorb. But if for whatever reason he got 2 back-to-back attacks, at that point you're essentially toast. So I think this is kind of the safest route. Safest and most reliable that I've seen. Should only be a couple more of these. Dunk. Boop. All right, and pretty sure he's going to start moving here. There he goes. Oh, there's Ruby Flame. So he's going to heal us here. So that's why you equip Fire Elemental. Just in case he casts that, because if he casts it, well, if you don't have Fire Elemental, it's going to do a lot of damage and it's going to hurt. And if he gets 2 attacks in a row, if the tentacle hits you for like the 4,900 damage and he gets you with a Ruby Flame and you're not at max HP, you're probably going to take an L. And if you're this far into the fight, man, is that rough. It's like a slap in the face. But you can see how reliable the status effect from Hades is, because it's worked on him every time. So, if you wanted to try this, you could do the same setup. You don't have to start the battle with the big guard. Sometimes it's nice, but you can entirely skip it, because you're basically going to stun lock him. But so you do this combo twice, and then you hover over Mime and wait for him to start moving again. And as soon as you see his arms start to move, you hit Mime, and he'll attack you once, but you should be fine. As long as he only gets 1 attack and not 2. Now, Diamond Weapon is going to be entirely different from this. Although there is a way you can cheese Diamond Weapon with Lucky 7s. We're going to cheese Diamond Weapon with a little bit of gravity, though. Because Diamond Weapon is susceptible to gravity damage, which means we can use Demi. And because he's got 1,000,000 HP, you link Demi with Quadra Magic, and you get 4 Demis off. So you use Quadra Magic Demi, and then you have 2 characters with Mime, and you just continually mime it until you get like an Omni Slash with Cloud. And then you Omni Slash with Cloud, and it does 15 hits. I think it's 15 hits. And then, if you really want to, you can just keep your other characters there for support and just have Cloud mime his Omni Slash, because you can mime limit breaks. So, like, even if you wanted to, you could try to do Diamond Weapon with Solo Cloud. You just do the same kind of setup. You equip like maybe 2 materia. Like you have 2 materia each on your other 2 characters, and then you have Final Attack Phoenix on Cloud. And then you would go in with a limit break, or well, you would have to have a 3rd materia for Mime. But then you go in, you start off with Omni Slash, and then you just continually mime it. And if you're doing quad 9s, you're doing 15 hits of like essentially 10,000 damage apiece. We should have them pretty soon. Hopefully this is it here. see how much HP that did? That's why that attack is scary. Because if you get hit with that and it brings your MP down to like below... I don't remember how much Phoenix costs, but if it brings you down below 100 MP, that's when things start to get spoopy and you have to be concerned about maybe using a Turbo Ether, just in case. And if you're going to use a Turbo Ether, you're probably going to want to do a big guard first. Because he's going to get at least a couple attacks off before you get that Turbo Ether and you can get back to doing a second summon with Hades and Knights of the Round. So this battle, if you're not careful or if you get really, really bad luck, it can go sideways pretty quick. I have to say though, for like considering that this is like an endgame super boss who's got 800,000 HP, it's a pretty chill battle. You spend most of the time just kind of sitting there watching the stuff go off and just hanging onto your controller waiting for when it's going to be your turn to hit right down XX. Oh, no, I think you have to hit right down XX because, I don't know, we'll see if it gets back to our menu, assuming this doesn't take him out. All right, we got him! Let's go! All right, so for beating him, you get 45,000 experience and 50,000 AP, which is why I said Phoenix was almost done, because I think Phoenix has like 54,000 AP left. But there we go. Final attack leveled up. We mastered fire, mastered HP plus. Good stuff. We got our Desert Rose and we got 30 grand. Okay, so what we're gonna do first, we'll do one of those. We'll find our tents, and then we will arrange by type to get everything back where it was. So our first order of business, we're gonna save, so we don't have to do that again because it takes forever. I'm going to keep a file before it, though, in case I want to go back and try different stuff later. Okay, so that's weapon number 1 done. What I want to do now, we're going to fly over to Cosmo Canyon. Because, you know what? I think it's just as quick to come from this side with no music. Okay, so the reason we want to come to Cosmo Canyon is because we mastered all of our yellow materia, which means I think it's this way. Yeah. Okay, so let's head in here. Click the button and come up. Come over to your yellow materia here. Yeah, look at that. Maximum level materia has been lost. Received 1 master command materia. Let's do it. All right, so the gimmick here, you'll notice we had mime there. But you come up to this materia and you give it 1 copy of each of the mastered materia that it was looking for, and you get the master command materia with it, which equips all commands. Oh, whoops. So now we can do the same thing. I don't know if it applies to this one. But we're going to do the same thing with the green materia and the red materia. We have to master them first, obviously, but you basically, you sacrifice a copy of your mastered materia of that color. And because the materia give you an extra, like when you master a materia, it births a new one. But you take those mastered materia, bring them here, and whatever ones it asks for, you just, it basically just pulls those from your inventory and compresses them into 1 master materia, which is super nice. Particularly the master summon one. Because then you don't have to have like 10 different summons. But so let's do this. I'm gonna give, whoops. I'm gonna give, let's go exchange. Master command, we'll give it to Barrett. We'll jump into a battle quick. We're not going the right way. Our ship's the other way. Okay, so let's show off what this does for Barrett. Now remember, Barrett's got no materia. So he gets all these goodies. You get steel, sense. What's unfortunate is that it doesn't give you mug, but you get manipulate, you get death blow. Wow, it actually hit. Okay, I'm over these guys. Okay, so let's go back to Cloud and we'll give him the other mime materia to work with. Now you'll notice though that double cut and slash all were not part of the package. Neither was the W item, neither was the W summon. So it's basically everything that doesn't include enemy skill, W item, W summon, double cut, slash all. It's only steal, sense, throw, morph, death blow, manipulate, and that's it, I think, and mime. But so now, and you know, it won't be too much longer until we learn, until we master the rest of the materia. It's just one of the magic materia is only available in the Northern Crater. And the other one, we have to finish mastering our summon materia for. Okay, so we're going to come over here. And we're going to head into the house. Talk to old Pops up here. Sure. He just casually has a gold chocobo hanging around in his house. What do we want to name it? What? There, we can name it Gilly after money, because the other one's Goldie. Okay, so we only have one more item to collect for this guy, which is going to be the was it the Earth Harp that we get from Diamond Weapon? But so now, if you come over to your Chocobo stable, oh wait, I wanted to check this. Yeah, so you can bring a Chocobo onto your airship if you want, which I thought was kind of neat. But so we're gonna go into here, and I think yeah, it's already in the stable. From what I understand, it's kind of useless though, because it's not really good stat-wise, and we already have a gold Chocobo there, so kind of pointless, unless you're doing this before you have Knights of the Round, which would be like it's literally the only thing you want the gold Chocobo for. But I think with that, we'll give it a save since we're over here. I kind of want to get... Where are we sitting materia-wise? Knights of the Round is going to be a while. Phoenix is almost done, though. And Hades is pretty well getting there. But that doesn't take away from the fact that we still have 72,000 AP we need to get for Bahamut Zero. An absolutely ridiculous amount of AP that we need to get for Typhon. And the rest are done. And we have all of the green materia except for one. Except for that one shield materia that you get in the Northern Crater, or the Northern Cave, whatever you want to call it. All of the other types of green materia, we have them mastered, so that's good. So really, it's just going to be to get the summons mastered, and then we're going to want to master W Summon. And you'll notice the master materias, they don't have like AP or anything. But yeah, so we're going to want to master the rest of the summons, and I don't know if I want to do that now. I think it would be worth it to do it now, because then we can get the master summon done with. And then it would just be to get the shield materia in the Northern Cave, master that, and get the master magic. I don't know. I think... Okay, well, just in case I decide I want to grind out the rest of the AP for those summons, we're going to come park the ship over here. Come hang out by Medial. But I think we will call it a day there for now. I think it was pretty productive. We took down Ruby Weapon. We got our Master Command materia. Went and delivered our Desert Rose. Got a useless gold chocobo. So then tomorrow, we will rearrange our setup. And we're going to go take on Diamond Weapon in the ocean. And once we do that, we've done pretty well everything you can do in the game. Everything the game gives you to do. Or everything that's worth doing. But yeah, so we'll take on Diamond Weapon tomorrow, and then after we finish off Diamond Weapon, we'll make one more trip over to the guy in Calm. We'll get our prize for finishing his side quest off. And then we will head to the Northern Crater to get our last green magic. Finish off our enemy skill materias in there, and then it's off to the end of the game, the final showdown. So, if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like these, make sure you hit the subscribe button, and until next time, thanks for watching.